In this video, we're going to further work on this model so that we can use it for chrome cobalt. Now we need acrylic relief underneath there. We can either use the draw method in the splint module, or we can use a paint on layer. The paint on layer will be very laggy because we have such a dense model. So in edit mode we can see how dense this model is. So if you wanted to use it to paint on layer and not be this laggy, we will then duplicate this model and use a less dense model for painting. So I'm going to take my retentive model and leave it where it is, and with the magnet tool off, Shift D to duplicate this model. Now this is going to be called our target model. So let us hide the models, the retentive models, and then, but before we do that, we put this into a different layer. So this is our refractory model. And this is going to become the model which we are using for painting. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remesh this model. So simply click on something over here. You could go smooth layer, and that will then bring up the voxel remesh. We have different voxel remesh anyway along the wax up module and everywhere else. So here we can see we've exited the smooth and it's at 0.4. Let's make this at 0.2 or even 0.2 looks okay. So if you don't want to use this menu, you can look for a voxel remesh. So we have a few distributed around. The wax up, for example, voxel remesh, and it says 0.2. So we're going to apply this. And then we're going to use this one because this one is not going to be as laggy. Go to the splint module, paint on method, and we're going to paint. But now where do we paint? I'm going to call this target model. Let us view the teeth again. H to view the teeth. I will join the teeth up. And from the top view, bottom view, we will make a line. So go to annotate, make sure that you click on surfaces. If you do not see this menu, it may be hidden, so click on Tool Settings. Make sure the surfaces is selected. This allows me to now draw on the surface of the model. So we can imagine where the tongue is and where this relief has to be. So this is just an estimate. With it being called target model, click on paint. And you see how fast this actually paints. If we had a 0.1 voxel model underneath, it becomes very laggy. Now set this to maybe 1.6, which means that the spacer underneath the metal frame would be at 0.8. We can even set this a little bit less. So I'm going to set this to 1.5. So that gives us a 0.7 millimeter spacer underneath our framework. Note I'll extend this down a little bit in case we want to add a clasp. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go a step back, and we're going to do this with the cutout method to demonstrate both ways of doing things. The minus sign is going to get rid of the layer. Do not take it too high up the contact. We can reserve this for metal. Accept layer. Let's set this to 0.2 to match the model. Set this to 0.2. Let us create more relief, this time the other method. So you may use both methods. Okay, layer 1.5. We're going to set this. So accept this. We shall set this to 0.2 and finish. If you want to, you can go ahead and smooth it as well. So this is ultimately our wax. You can use this to block out any other relief that you may need. Let's give them a different color just to distinguish. Join up these few segments using Ctrl J to join them up, and then give them a different color if you like. Alright, so this is our relief on the model. We need to take these little sections, and then we need to then join them to the retentive model, because this is ultimately our fitting surface. So this target model we don't really need anymore, and we can then delete that. And then we're going to bring up our retentive model, and then we need to join this up together, because this becomes one model. This is part of our retentive model, which we're going to need to paint or make our chrome cobalt. If you wanted a more clear definition or a refined edge, you can sculpt this with a few of the different sculpting tools. So with it being selected, we need to join these up. So here we are. We need to select the pink objects and then shift left click to select the model. Look for the bool tool in the edit menu, and then simply click on union. This will merge the objects together. This has made this into one model. To demonstrate, Alt B, we can see it's one model. I'm glad you guys are still with me. In the next video, we're going to make our patterns and our clasps, and we can design this.